this dude who's just a competitor. Been a winner everywhere he's been. I say that about a 22-year-old. Like he's not some guy with a dusty old suitcase that's been wandering around the plains. Drifter up on the gulch. Remember we used to do that with Favre with Russillo? Yeah, I saw him up on the gulch. It was dusty. He's 22. He's a young guy, but he's a winner. Anyway, fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns, and they win. And I got to say hello to him, and I just said, hey, man, I did a piece where I said it was a deep end of the pool, and I said, man, it looked like you were sinking, and you started swimming, man, and that was really, really impressive to see. It's just 1 week, but I feel like a guy demonstrates what everybody there saw for the world to see, and I think what Kevin was saying is like, people can roll their eyes about the idea of a culture kind of a win. He's like, but I think you saw that in that fourth quarter, and people saw what he is, and I'm like, it seems like you got a good one.
Yeah, I was super happy for him. Spending, I think, halftime, 30 seconds while you guys were doing halftime, checking out what the folks on social media were saying, and I was done. You people. Quote Aaron Rodgers, RELAX.
Relax.
We have to slow down, people. I mean, good Lord. How many possessions did he have in the first half? He doesn't have his left tackle. He doesn't have his second receiver. There's a process here. He's on the road in a division game with the first start. I just keep going back to these instances, Scott. Being there for Underwood, we talked about Saturday night for Michigan. Arch Manning on the road at Columbus. Like, it's a lot, man. Like these, as hard as it is, maybe it goes back to these fan bases and everything that builds up on social media. Slow down with the expectations, man.
I agree.
We gotta slow down.
No one's going to, at least not on social media, because that's the place where everyone's got to fire off their tweets and say there's snarky shit. But then when we started the show, I'm like, all you folks on social media that were talking junk, you're gonna have to either erase them or be
edit
or not. Like, because I think that's why you don't do it. I largely don't do it. Like, I'm not a live tweeter.
Oh.
I don't get. And there's people I like in our business that are just like live tweeting games like, hey, we're all watching the game. We know there was a good catch. Now, people react to amazing plays. People react in the moment. I get that. But like just giving us like play-by-play like you're the radio guy.
Yeah. Those fantasy text threads too.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes. Watch the game and put the phone down.
Please. Great advice.
Just try it.
No one's taking it. The fact that Minnesota had a guy in Darnold last year that won 14 games, which is the most wins by a quarterback in his first year with the team in the history of the NFL, and you let the guy go, it didn't matter that Darnold didn't look great in his first game with Seattle. It doesn't matter. It's just, hey, this guy, he can't do it. And people like to celebrate when people fail, and maybe there's a Michigan angle because of the title that they won, and there's you get to get your Connor Stallions line, whatever the case is. Well, and here's the fourth quarter. He brought out the Cassell meme and put his nuts in a wheelbarrow. You guys having fun? So good for him.
Yeah, super impressive. Now people are just going to point to maybe the Bears aren't that good. I don't care. The kid went out and did it up against the wall. And we get into these circumstances, Scott, and I'm sure we'll get to Buffalo and Baltimore, where you're like, all right, if they're going to do this, this needs to happen, then this needs to happen, then this needs to happen, and then this, like 7 degrees. But momentum is a certain thing. The littlest thing, I still go back to when Jaden Daniels was at LSU, and they started out the year well, but Jaden was still holding back. And remember Brian Kelly talking, I think McShay was on the sideline, and he's like, he hadn't thrown a pick yet in the season, right? And he's like, it's costing him throws and taking chances. And finally he had a meeting. He's like, I don't care if you throw an interception. Let it go. Mm-hmm. And then he does. They get rolled by Tennessee. Did he win the Heisman that year? Anyway, his career's done pretty well since that. And you could see that. And I think a lot happened last night with JJ. He's not sure. There's a little anxiety in there in the first half of throws. Am I going to do this? I have one of the best receivers. I'm going to force it in. What does he do? Forces it out, pick 6. What happens after that? He looked as good as he did all night. And you could, guys aren't going to admit it. They're going to give the cliche answers. I thought if you read between the lines with his interview with Lisa, you heard some things about, when guys are in that step, and Kevin O'Connell says, we put the C on your chest. The guys in this locker room believe in you. And you could see, like, hey, guys, yeah, I could do this. Like, this was a moment here. Now let's move forward and go, because I got the bad stuff out of me, and we're moving forward. So all that right there, I think you saw. It was just really, really cool. I mean, you don't see that happen a lot. First of all, with a kid in the first road star on a Monday night, for us to be there was really, really cool, and you could see that sideline galvanize around him.
And the storyline is the Chicago kid that wins, and he won. Yes. How and why? Their defense started terrorizing Caleb Williams. That Brian Flores defense started eating. The offensive line for Minnesota, without their left tackle, but it's a better group than it was. Kelly up there in the middle at center, right? I can go. They start running the ball. Now all of a sudden, you run the ball. Now all of a sudden, the play action is effective because we got to worry about, all right, is it Mason? Is it Jones Sr.? I don't know. Oh, wait, he is not. Oh, he's throwing it as a touchdown. All of that happens one after another, as you say, and then it's all these 7 degrees of things and dominoes that have to fall, and the next thing you know, they're ahead, and then they win.